So did a typical assignment look like when you went were dropped in, you went into the clients at the consulting firms? And some individuals say there's no way that someone has worked with hundreds of companies in their life. Like, well, have you worked with one of the large accounting firms? Because you go into company after company after company, and it's almost a systematic approach. What did that typically look like for you?
Yeah, sometimes it's different. I mean, oftentimes I'm working with senior leaders, whether it's the business owner, president, CEO, or when I was doing consulting work with the federal government, the program manager, the admiral, the general, whomever. I think it's really important to go in there and listen, ask good questions, listen to what they're saying, because I think you sub-optimize your ability to really help a client succeed if you go in there assuming you know what the problem is and assuming you know what the solution is. And a lot of times it's not. So I like to, typically it's a first meeting. I'll try and, build some sort of rapport through just personal connection. I'm a big fan of checking things out on the internet or LinkedIn. I think it's a shame on anybody who goes into a meeting and hasn't at least looked that person up on LinkedIn, because you can find a lot of information. Maybe you went to the same school, maybe you're from the same hometown. You certainly shared connections and or places of employment. And anything I think you can do to start to build a rapport and get those defense mechanisms down is going to help be a great building block to strengthening the relationship going forward. And then I just like to ask about, it really comes down to two things. Kristen, it's just like, what results are you trying to achieve, or what issues are you trying to resolve? I mean, it really kind of simply comes into one of those two buckets. We want to grow 20%, or we want to do this or that, or boy, we got a real problem with turnover, and we need to try and find a way to fix that. So it's going to come into one of those two buckets.